we make 35,000 decisions a day. And I asked ChatGPT a few months back if that number has increased with the onset of AI, and it has not because humans cannot make more than 35,000 decisions in a day. So when you think about that mass volume of everything that's hitting us constantly coming at us all day long, I think that the types of things that stop the scroll, that make people and take notice, that make people feel like they're a part of it, are those things that make them feel like they're a part of it. It's the conversations, it's the and even, storytelling is great if it's something people can relate to. It's me, and I'm gonna tell you all these things you need to know and how great I am and what I can do for you. And it's if you flip the script, what is it that you need? What is it that is bothering you? What is it that you're struggling with? And that's a sales conversation.
Hey everyone, welcome back to today's episode. If you ever wanted to help clients grow without leaving the smaller businesses behind, this one's for you. Today's guest is Heather Doering McGlone, founder of ACE Strategies, a woman led agency helping B2B leaders master LinkedIn, build systems, and use AI the right way. Heather, it's great to have you on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Would you mind to tell me a little bit about ACE Strategies, your agency?
Yeah, so when I went to college way back, this stuff didn't exist. So what I do today, so I actually have a degree in psychology and 13 years ago started ACE. That back then social media was becoming important for small businesses, but nobody knew what to do with it or how to use it effectively. And we started down that path. And like most things now, the more technologically advanced everything gets, the more business owners need to master and be able to do and do well to be able to run a business. So we started down that path. And today we have two halves of our business. We have a managed services side where we work with small business owners who are often in that B2B coaching, consulting, fractional C-suite fill in the blank space with simple websites, with social media, things that they know they need to do but don't want to do. And then we have a second side of the business that we're building, which is empowering those very small businesses who need to learn all these things that we all as business owners have to master, but they don't necessarily have the need or desire to hire 57 consultants to help them with those things, but they need a little help with coaching, classes, things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, from our previous conversation, I have to say, Heather, you really kind of inspired me when you talked about not leaving the small businesses behind. Because let's be honest, sometimes it's very difficult and very expensive, costly to get a marketing agency on board to help you. But you don't want to leave the small guys behind, right? You have a solution for that. So would you mind to go into more detail exactly what you offer to the smaller business owners that might not be able to invest as much money as businesses that have been in the industry for longer?
Yeah, and this is my passion project, and over the years, I work with several business coaches, and they have always told me, get bigger clients, charge more money. That's how you grow a
Yeah.
business, right? And we've done that to an extent. However, there is this, and I feel like it's this widening gap of the haves and have-nots in business. I mean, if you're not a certain size where you can't outsource all this stuff that we now have to master, you're kind of stuck. So this is my passion project. It took about 2 years of just kind of running along in my brain to figure out what it is going to be and what it is. We are building for lack of a better word, a platform that is housing courses that are designed by experts who want to help this group of folks in a way that they can't necessarily do that by being hired as a coach, consultant, whatever. So we've launched 4 courses since May. We did two are our own. One of those is how to create a month of content in a half hour, primarily using ChatGPT.
Wow. I
And
feel like
then
I'll need that course.
yeah, and it's not, and one of my pet peeves about any course I've ever taken, you get to the end, and if you really want the secret sauce, join my $20,000 coaching program. That's not what we're doing. These are actually useful, practical, helpful. So for the AI course, you've got all the prompts that you need to be able to create the content. And so it's very complete in the information that we're giving. And then we did a Canva course, which is using some of Canva's new cool stuff, and folks who just don't really know how to use it. But if you've got Canva and you've got chat, those two together, that's a powerful 1-2 that can help get you there 80% of the way with a lot of your content. And then we launched a bookkeeping basics course that one of my clients created. And we launched last week a course on what's called Impostor Reset to get rid of the imposter syndrome, that little narky voice that tells you, you know, you're lucky to be here and you didn't earn your way that thing. That's another client course that we created. So and then we've
Wow,
got
no, that's
greenlight.
incredible.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's so many different areas to focus on, right? And how long would you say these courses are on average?
So, they're 30 to 45 minutes. And the Imposter Reset course, she's got some exercises that if you really dive into it, it would take you a little bit longer to complete the course, but they're short lessons and they're not expensive. It's the whole goal is we all need to fill gaps, right? So where are the gaps? And here's a solution or a tool or a course or a whatever that can help with that gap. So my vision for this whole thing is this place where people can come to get high quality, low cost, vetted, good information where it's not junky, it's not that we talked about, oh, buy my
It's not like beating around the bushes because I mean there's like these 8-hour courses and there's a lot of fluff and not a lot of real solutions for what you can use today.
yeah. 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 And because I'm my own worst critic. So if there's something in the world I don't like, I would never put that into the world. So
No,
I
I
don't
see.
make
No,
cold
that's
calls. I
great.
don't spit, those things. So the courses have to hit and we're developing most of the content and helping the clients. So we're making sure that the bar is set really high.
Yeah. So I'm really curious, Heather, what sparked the idea of having a solution for smaller business owners as well?
That's a great question. I think I'm not 100% positive. I think that was me when I started, right? I didn't know anything. I had gone through a divorce. I spent a year and a half working with a virtual assistant and had no idea how to market or monetize. I was just throwing money out the door, and so I had to. I didn't have a lot of money. I had to bootstrap. I had to learn, and I figured it all out. But
The hard way,
and the
probably,
hard way,
right?
right? Had
Yeah.
there been someone that said, "Okay, here are 3 great systems. This is the one we really like," as opposed to, "Here are 57 great systems and try them all." I mean, I spent 18 months looking for a CRM because I'd try one and it didn't quite fit what we needed, and it just wastes so much time and brain power. So I think it started with knowing all the things that we've gone through over the last 13 years and just wanting it to be easier. And I also am in a position where I do a lot of coaching and mentoring of women and small business owners and help. So I see I'm working with these folks on a daily basis so I can see where the needs are. And not everybody needs to hire me. And they shouldn't, right? A lot of this people can do on their own if they know what to do.
Yeah. I mean, touching point on that a little bit, you talked about in a previous chat as well in regarding to this community you have for empowering women. Would you mind to explain like how that came about and what exactly is the structure of this community, please?
Yeah, yeah. So I have a girlfriend and we go back and forth. When did we actually start? When did I start? And we do it based on the ages of our kids. So I think it was around 21, 22 years ago.
Okay,
And
wow. That's a
I
long time.
started hosting women's networking events in my home. And that grew into a community. And that then outgrew my home. And for several years, like 15 years, 20 years. We would meet on a regular basis for dinner. We had these big networking dinners and just had a community of hundreds of women. Not everybody would come every time, but just a great group of women. And then that morphed into an annual women's conference, which I've co-chaired now for the last 10, 11, 12 years, and working with a women's group through my Chamber of Commerce and just a lot of I'm passionate. I want to help everybody, right? But I think a lot of women have a little bit different challenges than men. A lot of times you're the mom, you're the nurse or doctor when your kids are sick, you're running a business. It's just different. It's not better, it's not worse, it's just different. So I think that just was a natural fit for me.
Can I give you a bit of a personal perspective that I've noticed like over the last 30 episodes I've had speaking with founders?
Yeah, I'd love that.
Great. So obviously, I don't know what is your opinion, because obviously you speak to more women, and you obviously have that community. But I've noticed the difference that men founders in the industry, they're more power hungry than women are. Women kind of settle. So like they have this thing, and the business, and they're free to do whatever hours they want to do. They're not no longer working corporate, but now they have a family, so they're kind of settling. I mean, that's kind of the trend I noticed. What is your opinion on that? Is it different or a little bit similar on that regard?
That's a great question, and I think it depends. I know I had a home-based business when I was
Mhm.
married and my kids were very young, and that didn't need to be the forefront, right? That it was more of a something fun that just gave me some extra spending money. When I got divorced, there was no fallback. So I think some of it depends on your situation
Yeah.
and priorities, and priorities change, once your kids grow up a little bit, there might be more time, or so I think it's different, but I wouldn't disagree with that. And I know it's one of those things that I would just say there is no fallback. I have to make this work.
You're right. Yeah,
Yeah. Gotta
especially
pay the
the
mortgage.
circumstances. Yeah, the circumstances. So, in regarding to your agency, what kind of services do you currently provide to your clients?
Yeah, so we with our managed services leg half of the business, we do a lot of LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram. We started the company predominantly doing LinkedIn marketing for folks. So we do content in their voice. In fact, I have clients who have been working with us for years and they don't ever let anybody know that they're not really the ones posting because they want credit, right? So I'm like, it's okay. And they're like, oh, Anyway, so we do their LinkedIn content. We also have a LinkedIn automation tool that we use for folks who want to up the LinkedIn communication piece of it. So that's running in the background. And then we've expanded. That was one thing COVID taught us. We were very pigeonholed in LinkedIn, and we were very dependent on if LinkedIn made a change that negatively impacted us, it negatively impacted business. So we do social for LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. We build simple websites for people who need a validation site, but you don't need to sell, 50,000 widgets online. It's more, the this is who I am, this is what I do, I'm legit. And we do marketing collateral, and so all of that stuff. And some I do some coaching and consulting as well. And then for the platform piece that we're building, folks who have a great course idea will come to us and we'll interview and decide if it's a good fit. And then we are helping them build and launch those courses. Because you can build a great course, but if you don't get it out into the universe, no one's going to buy it because no one's going to know it's there.
Of course. And in a way, you kind of have that platform. I think you're kind of figuring that area out, but you currently still have a platform where you have the other four courses that people can obviously
Yeah.
go and have a look at, isn't it?
Yeah. So right now everything's on our website. And
Okay. Yeah.
early next year, we're going to, I think, to separate out that platform piece into something else. But we haven't quite decided what that looks like yet.
Well, what is your goal for these courses? What do you want it to expand to?
Ooh.
Let's dream a
Well,
little bit. Why not?
yeah, it's a lot of it's fun to help create them because I'm learning deep diving into some of these
Right?
topics that I've never known a whole lot about. Eventually, I would like to create uh, a community of very small business owners who are engaging with one another to fill the gaps, engaging with our platform to fill the gaps, and who are rising because of those interactions and that support. And many, many, many years ago, I had a message that I was put on this earth to build community. Everywhere I go, every part of me, and in my house, in my community, in my with my friends, wherever. So that's an inherent part of who I am. And so I envision this community of folks who are just really gonna help one another level up.
I've spoken to other communities as well, I have to say, but it kind of depends on how engaged that community is, because that's when you get to the point they help each other out. You're still there, but you don't have to be. They're helping each other out. They're probably a couple steps ahead of somebody else, and like, oh, this is what worked for me. So,
Yeah.
in your opinion, like, how do you think you can get such an engaging community?
So I think part of it is attracting people who have that similar mindset. And our tagline has always been ignite your business and kick ace. And so this I'm going down a little bit of a rabbit hole, but there's a reason. So a few years ago we rebranded and just became ACE Strategies, and ACE is an acronym. And I could not secure that URL. It was being held hostage for $7 or $8,000. I'm like, oh, for heaven's sake! So
Wow.
I could get kick ace strategies, which ties
Yeah.
into our tagline. And one of the women that works for me said, "Well, what if people are offended by that?" And I said, "They probably wouldn't enjoy working with me then because." And so I think part of it is that. And I also think, I've led groups for decades, and I think that the leader of a group or of a community or of sets the tone and expectations of what's bad behavior, what's good behavior, what is expected if you are part of this. And so I think some of that will naturally bubble up as we build this, because those are the folks who are going to want to be part of something like this. And if they
Yeah.
don't want to be, then they're going to think it's dumb and hokey and a waste of time, and
Yeah.
and it's
And
okay.
then they just exactly, and then they
Yeah,
just won't join, will they?
right.
You just mentioned point about ACE being an acronym. What does it stand for again? Sorry, you mentioned it last time.
Yeah, so the A is amplify, so amplifying your brand, your whatever it is you need to amplify, right? And then the C is connect, so we're connecting clients to customers and connecting content to followers, all that those whole, and connecting people to people, because that's a really huge piece of what we do.
God, yes.
And then the E is empower. So it's empowering
But
folks
there you
to.
go again. That empower is there.
Yeah, yeah, and we've played 'em sometimes we'll change them up a little bit, but that's our running list right now.
Yeah. No, no, no. That's absolutely fine. In regarding to LinkedIn, actually, something very interesting. Apparently, LinkedIn is one of the most expensive platforms to do anything on. So you mentioned obviously doing LinkedIn marketing. I don't know if you've run ads on LinkedIn as well, or is it just content?
Yeah, if anyone works for LinkedIn that hears this, I apologize. I've never had good luck with LinkedIn ads.
Oh, I see. Mm,
We run Facebook ads, and we'll
yeah.
do Eventbrite boosting and things like that, but LinkedIn, it was probably 4 or 5 years ago, they came out with a new ad platform, and I was so excited,
Mm,
and it was as bad as the old one.
no
So,
way.
I
Wow.
think if you have significant amounts of money to invest, they can be very helpful, but if you're a small business like I am, you just would not have enough spend behind an ad
Yeah.
campaign on LinkedIn. I would do better on Facebook and Instagram, just because you can really hyper target in and you don't have to spend a lot of money.
I mean, I wonder. I mean, LinkedIn's great for obviously having them business owners. Like, if you're going after a specific title, I'll be honest, there is some okay content out there, but it's not very engaging. They're trying to do shorts now, which they're trying to be similar to Facebook, but it's kind of business related, so it's not as fun,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, I wonder where LinkedIn will be going, but I have been told time and time again it's one of the most expensive platforms, and like you say, it's difficult to achieve results.
Yeah. Yeah, and and so if companies say, "Hey, will you run LinkedIn in it's for us?" I always pass them on to somebody else, just because I have not had great success personally.
Sales Navigator is great, and you can use LinkedIn in other areas. And there's these automation campaigns where you can actually directly message who you're after. Whether or not they see your message, that's another another question, right?
Yeah, yeah, and so we use Sales Navigator in conjunction with this automation software that we license through the UK, and, I've been working with that company for, gosh, probably 8, 9 years. So that's a powerful one too, to be able to use the great filtering capabilities of Sales Navigator and then
Yeah.
align it with genuine, authentic messages that just go out on their own.
In what sort of approach would you say you tried before? What sort of strategy to reach out on LinkedIn personally? Well, what have you seen works?
I think I can tell you, and again, I filter everything through me, right? So the 50,000 emails a day that, oh my gosh, if you don't call me today, your world is going to come to a crashing halt because my company is blah blah blah. And the same thing through LinkedIn, you just get spam, 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 spam. And I think more than ever, the differentiator is the not doing those things, and the authentic and asking about other people. And
You know what? I love that you said that. Honestly, I love it. No, please continue. Sorry. I was waiting for that. I really was.
yeah. Yeah, because it's sad to say that that's a differentiator, and I know that it's the great tools and the technology and it's the, spray the whatever the saying is, you throw the wide net to catch the fish or whatever, but
Yeah, yeah.
my goodness, I just want someone to have I love this ability to have a
Right, the
conversation.
conversation,
So
and
thank you.
that's what everyone else, well, pretty much wants as well, as long as there is some sort of a value for them to be getting on a call. And for us, it's the podcast is of value on both sides. It's network and it's content, and that's, connecting is incredible. But it's like you say, direct approach doesn't work anymore. And I'm trying to get more awareness out there as well, because it's the same thing with email. I hear time and time again agencies say cold email is dead. And I'll be honest with you, it's not dead. You do need to make sure you get your volume out there, but it's the strategy behind that email
Yeah.
that's really going to change things up for you. And same thing on LinkedIn, as you touched point on just now as well. Would
Yeah.
you have any sort of advice for agency owners out there? What sort of free value is best that you've seen has actually worked?
Yeah, I think and I've been coaching on this with clients as well. We make 35,000 decisions a day. And I asked ChatGPT a few months back if that number has increased with the onset of AI, and it has not because humans cannot make more than 35,000 decisions in a day. So when you think about that mass volume of everything that's hitting us constantly coming at us all day long, I think that the types of things that stop the scroll, that make people take notice, that make people feel like they're a part of it, are those things that make them feel like they're a part of it. It's the conversations, it's the and even, storytelling. Storytelling is great if it's something people can relate to. If it's just telling about your again, I feel like so much of everything is, oh, it's me, 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 and I'm gonna tell you all these things you need to know and how great I am and what I can do for you. And it's if you flip the script, what is it that you need? What is it that is bothering you? What is it that you're struggling with? And that's a sales conversation. And that's a friend thing. It's a should be part of everything that we do is asking the questions and diving a little deeper. Those touches that most folks don't even recognize need to be part of it. So I think being human and being authentic and genuine and interested in
Yeah.
others.
Like genuinely interested, right?
Yeah.
It's not all about just like the transaction that you will get from that person. And that's how most people approach business owners nowadays. But it's all about me, me, me. This is what I do. And I'm going to make you scale. But then they don't even know the specific issues that business owner is going through. And I think you're right. You just need to get on a conversation with owners. And I completely love that approach because direct doesn't work anymore,
Yeah, and I think
unfortunately.
too, being a resource and you had talked earlier about your network and my friends, I've got a couple friends that are phenomenal connectors and I'm a
Wow.
natural connector. And so I'm not asking for anything in return when I say, "Oh my gosh, you should talk to so and so," right? It's just be a good connection or I think you could help so and so or so and so could help you. And so having it not always be about the sale, I think also it's,
Yes.
you know,
No, you are absolutely right in there as well. I mean, I've had probably about 30 podcast episodes so far, and there's already connections I'm making. I'm like, that agency owner is deficient in this area, but then the other agency owner is very like proficient in that, and they can, make a collaboration there. And you're just a natural connector of people, right?
yeah. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please go on.
So what spurred you to start a podcast? And congratulations for getting past episode 10 because I hear that's where most people
Yeah,
drop.
it's very weird. You're not the first person to say that, actually. I keep hearing it time and time again. Why is it episode 10 that everyone gets and then they just give up? I mean, in regards to the podcast, actually, it was first things first, it was understanding marketing agencies. I did used to own a marketing agency myself, but I was more kind of the bottom feeders, right? And that's kind of the connection I had with marketing agents, but I didn't fully understand them. And it's such a wide niche. There's so many specialists in different sections, right? So the main reason for me was actually researching and understanding, getting on conversations with agency owners And now it's led to podcasts and actually genuinely connecting with people. I've never looked back since I started a podcast because I feel it genuine connection and discussions with people like yourself and like pickling their brain. I have to say I am absolutely addicted to this because it's like I'm a student, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I recommend to everyone who's interested and then like genuinely curious to start a podcast because I think it's so valuable on all areas, especially if you get past episodes. Is that something you've considered before,
You
or
know,
obviously
actually, I was working this fall in summer with a friend of mine who's a podcast coach and
nice?
preparing to he's gonna help get me on some podcasts, and then I
Yeah,
was looking at starting next year, and we'll in conjunction with this rollout of this platform, and we'll see where we're at, but I for me, I think it would be similar to for you, right? It's the personal connection, the hearing people's stories.
yeah,
I'm
right.
fascinated by life. I'm curious naturally. I think it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you will definitely empower a lot of people that you get on the conversations with because that's what you've done to me as well. So obviously AI and automation is something I'm very passionate about. That's actually something we do in our business. So you touched point on using automation. So what exactly has helped your agency in regards to AI and automation?
Yeah, well, I know, I remember so it's funny, in a month, ChatGPT turns 3, right? November 30, 2022 was the day that the
Wow.
world changed, right? So, when that first happened, a lot of folks in my space, colleagues, friends, business owners were like, "Oh my gosh, we're gonna be out of business in a year and blah, blah, blah." Well, we chose to embrace and start using these tools that they they make us smarter, faster, and more efficient.
Uh-huh.
And so that's been our mantra for 3 years, and so we're helping others learn how to use them and use them well, and I think for the you know, the I every day I wake up and I learn something new. So this is an aside, I run my local, Chamber of Commerce's annual gala auction, which is a week from tomorrow, and we had a problem with the software that we purchased 2
Mm,
weeks ago. So we had less than a month to go, and I built from scratch a software system that's interactive for our 600 items that have to get processed. And I had ChatGPT here, and I
mhm.
had Airtable here, and I built this system that I'm gonna actually sell. It's
Wow.
really good, but there's no
Wow,
way I
that's
could have done
incredible.
that without
Right.
and it's just it speeds everything up, and then finding those places where you can automate, how you can set up email sequences, you can set up, scheduling your social content, take one
Mhm.
post or one blog and repurpose it into a bunch of things, get it scheduled, and you're set for the week. So I think for a lot of folks, it's not cloning yourself, but it's gaining efficiency, which gives you back some time.
It's not cloning yourself yet, right? Because I mean,
Right.
new tools are
Yeah.
coming out daily. So I think we are potentially getting to the point that, you will be able to clone yourself, like, genuinely.
Yeah, and I was thinking the other day when you log into your computer and you get the nature backgrounds or whatever, one
Huh?
popped up and I thought, this looks like an AI generated image. So
Ooh.
there's the what's real, what's not. The
Ooh,
lines
tell me
continue to
about it.
blur. So I tell folks when I train on how to use tools like chat, at the end of the day, we're the humans and we're responsible for what we put out.
Mhm.
There are bad people in the world, and there will always be bad people in the world, and there will always be people who are looking to use things not in a good way, but you gotta just show up and be a human and be a person.
So in regarding to your current, clients, like, or your future client, how do they find you nowadays? What has worked best for you? Because your LinkedIn presence is really good as well, and that's
Thanks.
my next question, like, how did you get it to that point too?
Yeah, so, I'll do that one first because that's the easier
Yeah.
one. I've not been as good the last couple 3 years on
Mm.
LinkedIn, but I spent a lot of time on LinkedIn for many years and, um, built out connections and
Mhm.
friendships and met people all over the world. We've got a client in Australia that we met on LinkedIn during COVID. So, yeah, so it's fun.
How do clients find you?
Oh,
What's the best method that's working for you right now?
yeah. So, along with LinkedIn and personal networking for so many years. Most of what we get now comes through referral. And that's a really good thing just because you don't have to work so hard. However, that's a place of complacency sometimes because we being me, should be out, pounding the pavement more than I do. Yeah, so we are fortunate that the referral piece has, and that's just it again back to relationships, right? You just pour
Yeah.
into other
Yeah.
people and then it's come back
Yeah.
and
So it's kind of going back to that point of we are specialists in helping other business owners, but then when it comes to our business, we're not so good, right?
yeah, when we went to launch our first class in May, I didn't have a list. I mean, I've had this company for 13 years, right? And I
Yeah.
know hundreds of people, but we did not have an agency list. So we had to start our list from scratch. I'm like, oh my gosh. And you tell people you need to do your lead bag, you need to build your list. Dot, 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 dot." We never
Yeah.
did it ourselves because we can do it for
Right?
you.
Wow. Yeah. No, we're suckers for obviously helping ourselves, but like rather we help the other like business owners. In
Yeah.
regarding to referrals, actually very important point there because there is power to referrals as well as long as you utilize them properly. I mean, I've spoken to some agency owners and some don't utilize referrals as well as they should. Do you have any kind of steps where you approach a customer, sorry, your client, and you say, "Do you have any referrals or anybody else that you think this would be useful for?" What is the best sort of steps to take to that?
Yeah, so I am really bad at that, and that's another thing, I've been
Really?
coached to do that. It's the referrals that we're getting are folks typically that have worked with us that just say, "Oh,
Mhm.
you need to talk to Heather," or somebody who has a client that they know would be a good fit. So they've been we've done nothing to get them except hopefully serve our clients the best ways that we can, and that's a good
Mhm.
experience for them. But I should do that,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
right?
And
Yeah.
I've been told because I take this question kind of to all of my guests because everyone's got a different approach. The best way is you ask them for a referral after you achieve them good results or something, they're very happy.
Yeah, my sales coach, when he brings on a new client, that's part of the onboarding is, hey, in 6 months
Mm,
or so, once we've proven that, we're not quacks and, we're really going to
yeah.
deliver what we said we can deliver. I just want to say I may come back and ask you for a referral. Will that be okay? So he sets that expectation the day that they
Ah,
sign the contract. And I never think to do that. I'm always thinking about 6 steps ahead. So I think that's an easy way to introduce it in a non-threatening way. And then if it's not the right person, you never have to go back and ask. But if it is, then
yeah,
they're
like
already
that's
expecting it.
one power to that. Like, what, and that's kind of the motto I'm trying to take on myself. If you don't ask, you don't get, right?
Yeah.
And I
Right.
know sometimes it's like that imposter syndrome, right? It's getting past that point, and then you'll be okay. So,
Yeah.
if you're speaking to any experts experts in this sort of topic, I would love to listen to that.
Okay. Yeah. I'll have him make a video for you because that would be a good video for him to make. So
Yeah, no, because I mean, from the agency owners I've spoken to, that it does come up quite often. Obviously, we talked about AI. Have you explored any workflows as well?
it's interesting being forced into this place where I had to create this auction software. It has started my brain
Mm,
considering things that it never would have thought of in this week. So we're building courses for folks and it's a lot of work and it's a lot of content development. And so I went to my best friend ChatGPT and I said, "Okay, how can I make this creation process more efficient?" And so we went back and forth a little bit and it gave me this brilliant idea to create templates for the resources that go with each lesson. We were creating everything from scratch. So it's getting me thinking more, how do you systematize the stuff that you do on a daily basis? So that,
mhm.
or maybe not daily, but the things that you do regularly to make it faster and more efficient. And those were not things that I ever would have thought of
Mhm.
prior to using some of these tools because there wasn't that capability, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah. It
Can I
feels
can I recommend a couple tools? Obviously, I don't know if you will have the time to research them, but a couple of platforms that really work great is
yeah,
make.com. That's kind of a no-code platform. There's also NA10, which is, I mean, that's growing rapidly because the amount of things you can do on there is just wow. And once you start looking, you're like, what is going on? I didn't even know I can automate that,
yeah.
right?
What was the
So those
first
are the
one? So
make
NA10.
N8N and make.com.
Okay.
Yeah, they are absolute gold. That's actually something we use in our own agency. Let me tell you, incredible things you can do with it.
Yeah. So how are you using AI? What's your best AI, your favorite tool that you're using?
That's a difficult question because there's so many. Right? Actually, a really good one I can recommend you because you like to do a lot of content. I'm gonna have to get in touch with my business partner. I'll send it to you afterwards. But it's basically you can analyze a full video like we have this podcast going on here, and it will automatically create little shorts for you and they will make them engaging little shorts, right? And it will do it in like minutes. So I'll list it below this podcast so the audience can find it as well.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
forgot the name of it, I have to say, but it's incredibly useful. Like we saved hours from like our editing team having to do it
Yeah.
manually.
Okay, very good. Yeah, and who's your ideal client?
So who's my ideal client?
Yeah.
I would say agency owners that are realizing the power of AI and automation and are willing to implement it into their business. That's kind of my, somebody who's open to AI. Because I'll be honest, I have been on podcasts before and they're like, no, AI is not for me. I'm totally against it. And I won't be using it for my business. And that's absolutely fine. I do wonder what will happen in a few years' time in regards to business that won't implement it. Because, I mean, recently I saw news in regards to USA, in Amazon in USA letting go of about 30,000 people
Yeah.
because of AI. And I'm like, "What? Is this a reality right now?"
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is, and, it's yeah, it's interesting. The world is gonna look different. I think we'll
Yeah,
have iterations every few years instead of every few decades,
yeah,
right?
yeah. If
Robots
not
took
every few
over
months.
manufacturing, and now that took decades, and now AI, I think it's gonna be every few years, there's the next thing that's the
Right,
threat, and,
right.
I don't know.
Like, I feel like robotics will be the next thing because now there's this AI and it's really, really powerful. But it's like, as soon as they get a robot to be able to do the things the human can do,
Yeah,
that's production right there. And that's how
yeah,
many people being let go of, which I think
yeah,
is what happened with Amazon. But I'll need to look into that a little bit more. But
yeah,
it's
I
just
saw that headline. I
scary.
did not read the article on Amazon, though, yeah.
Yeah, but I keep hearing, and I'm like, I feel really sorry for those people because suddenly you don't have a job. What are you
Right,
going to be doing? Right?
right, right,
What
that's a
is
lot
what
of
is
people.
yeah, what is the safest kind of work area I should be getting myself into to not be let go of in a few years' time as well?
Well, yeah, and probably healthcare, but then
Mm,
when all the
mm.
boomers cease to exist, we've got all these places that have been built for them, for their retirement, and so that's gonna
Yeah,
it's just this cycle, so I don't know. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, I guess we'll find out, right?
yeah, we'll make our millions, and then we can just buy an island
Yeah,
and
you
drink
know
Mai
what? Then
Tais.
we can live somewhere on the beach with a
Yeah.
cocktail in our hands. Why not? Heather, I just wanna say thank you very much for joining this
Yeah,
podcast. If people wanted to connect with you, find out more about you, look at your courses, where could they find you?
so our website is kickacestrategies.com. So company
Mhm.
is Ace Strategies, put the word kick in front of it, and you're golden. We're there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Great. Thank you for such
Thank
an
you.
authentic conversation. It's
Thank
been a
you.
pleasure to have you on.
Thank you so much.